Hey everyone, welcome back to BDG Reviews, another episode of the 12 Days of Black Christmas. I found another one. I've just been looking through my old videos, like my old 12 Days of Black Christmas, and seeing if there's anything I haven't covered. And surprisingly, I've never covered the one, the only, the mighty Silent Night, Deadly Night. I've covered other entries in the series. I did Silent Night, Deadly Night 5. I think I did 4 as well. But I didn't do Silent Night, Deadly Night 1. Which is a little weird, to say the least. So I'm going to remedy that right now. Silent Night, Deadly Night. At this point, if you haven't seen Silent Night, Deadly Night, you might be on the wrong channel. This movie is... I don't even know how to... I'll say this. This is the movie that traumatized a generation, but not the generation it was supposed to. This movie traumatized the older generation at the time. You had parents out, like boycotting it, like, oh, Santa Claus is a killer, we don't want our kids to see that. It's like... Bitch, it's an R-rated movie. Your kids shouldn't be seeing it anyway, but, you know, basic plot, a kid and his little brother, their parents get murdered by someone dressed as Santa Claus. They're sent to live in, like, an orphanage run by crazy-ass nuns. You know, it doesn't work out well for them. Sufficient to say, you know, they're highly traumatized by what has happened, and these nuns don't exactly help the situation, you know? So, many years have passed. Our main character is now, like, an adult. So, these nuns get him a job working at this mall. Well, it's like a store. As a store Santa. Yeah, you know what? Like I've known tone deaf like adults, but I find it hard to believe that anyone, even the dumbass, you know, nuns in this, would think it's a good idea to put a kid who has that much trauma surrounding Santa Claus in a job where they have to dress up as Santa Claus. Not a good idea. Sufficient to say, bad shit happens. And, you know, you have a killer Santa Claus on the loose. So, yeah. I'll leave it there for the, you know, for the synopsis for, like, the 4 people who've never seen it. This is an all-time classic of Christmas horror. I watch this every year, as well as Black Christmas. They've always been on my Christmas watch list. I used to have this on VHS. I watched it on VHS. I had the DVD that had like a flipper DVD with part 1 and part 2. You know what? I'm going to get into part 2 a little bit because essentially it's the same damn movie. It's so good. You know, you got some great kills in here. You got literally just a dude dressed as Santa. You know, there's no, you know, you see nowadays, like, you'll get someone like a Santa killer and they'll have, like, a twisted face or they'll something. Like, no, this is just, like, a dude. You know, I mean, he's a big dude and he does some horrible things, but he's just a dude. And it just works. This movie works so well. I think what did this movie more harm than anything would be the hype. Essentially, you know, these, like, who was it that did it? It was like, you know, the PTAs and everything. They kind of ruined it. Because they're like, oh, you know, it's like an evil Santa Claus, he's killing people. It's like, they're hyping it up and, like, getting people, you know, so, like, oh, I gotta see this movie. And then you see it, and it's a good slasher film. but that's it. You know, I don't know. Maybe it was just the marketing. The way they marketed this was too on the nose. I don't know, but it doesn't deserve its reputation. Let's say that. It's a really solid movie, you know, but it doesn't deserve what it's got. So yeah, now just moving on to part 2 for a little bit. I love part 2. I'm going to say that right now. But part 2 is part 1. You know, you know the story. The people were wanting to make a sequel or whatever. I guess they had not enough money or whatever. They decided to rip it off, so they took all the best scenes from Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, edited them in as a flashback into Silent Night, Deadly Night 2, and you ended up with 3/4 of Silent Night, Deadly Night 1 and a quarter of new footage. I still like it. Honestly, it's still fun, but come on, it was a bit dumb. But Silent Night, Deadly Night 1, really solid. What works with this is it doesn't make fun of itself. There's a lot of Christmas slasher movies and everything that poke fun at it, and this doesn't. This takes itself deadly serious, and I really appreciate that. It's just all in all a great film. For rating, this gets an S rank. I've said before that my rating system, S rank is above everything else. Doesn't need to actually be a great movie to get an S rank, but it needs to resonate with me very strongly to get an S rank, and this gets it. It's awesome. You got some great kills. You got, it's just awesome with it was kind of I want to say one of the first real Christmas horror movies, and it's damn good. So yeah, there you go. S-class film, Silent Night, Deadly Night. If I've said before, don't be living under a rock. Get these movies seen. And, yeah, that's it for me. See you next time.